Good morning. Welcome to the online classes on Internet of Things or IoT. In this today's video, we'll be speaking about data acquiring, organizing, processing and the analytics chapter. Here, we will be speaking about the data acquiring and the organizing in this particular video, and in the next video we will be speaking about processing and the analytics. Now, first and foremost, here we will be trying to identify the different acquiring method, how they are stored, organized, and how they will be processed here, and how they are implemented in the business. So let us first study about the data acquiring and the storage. So here what you are trying to do here is you will be trying to acquire, or you want to collect the data from the device. So device is the IoT or any other machines there. So here we will be studying about in this particular section, that is data acquiring and storage. We will be studying about how to acquire the data and how they will be stored on the particular application or on the particular service or on the business process. So first and foremost, let us study about the data acquiring or the data generation. So while coming to the data generation, data is generated at the device that will be transferred to the internet. It will be transferred to the internet through a particular gateway. It will be transferred to the internet through the gateway. So while coming to here, that is data generation, you can collect the data from the IoT and the M2M, that is machine to machine devices. So you can have their data. You can have the data from the events data. You can have real-time data generation. You can also get the data from the analytics, intelligence and the processors. So you can use the output of these things or the result of these things as the data generation also. So you can give the output as the input for some other things. Next, we will be speaking about some of the data generation. The first one is passive device data. So while coming to the passive device data, the data will be generates at the device or the particular system. So data following the results of interaction between the devices. Now the passive device does not have own power source. So this is the main point here. The passive device will not be having the power source. So how to send the data or any other things? The external source makes the device to send the data. Alright. So it doesn't have its own power to send the data. So what it is going to do? It is going to make use of the external power source to send the data. Your example is RFID and the ATM debit card here. The contactless card may or may not have the associated microcontroller, memory or the transfer. It can have or it may not also have them. So the main point in the passive data generation is the data will be generated at the device or the system. So here it doesn't have its own power source, so it is going to make use of the external source to send the data. Next is active device data. So while coming to the similar to passive device data, here also the data will be generated at the device or the system, that is data following the result of the interaction between the devices. Now, the only difference between the active device data and the passive device data is, while coming to the active device data, you are going to have its own power source. So when it is going to have its own power source, it can make use of that particular power source to send the data. Now, while coming to the example, you have the active RFIDs, street light sensors are there, and you have the wireless sensor nodes are also there. Now, while coming to the active device associated with the microcontroller, memory and the transceivers. While coming to the passive device data, they may or may not associated with them, but while coming to the active device data, they are associated with the memory, transceivers and the microcontroller. So next is event data from the device. So event data from the device, that means some event has occurred, right? So here the device generating the data on an event once only. So for example, you have the detection of the traffic or dark ambient condition, that will signal the event here. So when the your sensor gets to have the dark ambient conditions, that time the event will communicate a need of the lighting the street lights. So street lights will be lighted there, or the system consisting of the security cameras will be generating the data on the event of the security breach or the intrusion detection, or the waste container with the associate circuit generating the data in the event of getting it 90% or more filled up. Next is device real-time data. So an ATM generating the data and communicates to the server instantaneously through the internet. So here the real-time data will be getting generated. So for example, your ATM, right? So as you insert the card, it is directly communicating with the server that is present in your bank, right? So it will be checking whether you have the sufficient balance or not, everything, right? Okay. So here also it is going to enable the online transaction processing, that is OLTP in the real time. Next is event driven device data. So while coming to the event driven device data, the device will receive the command from the controller and the monitor. So it is going to receive the command from the controller and the monitor. So after it receives the command, it is going to perform the actions using the actuators. So once it receives the command, then it is going to perform the actions by making use of actuators. So when the action will going to complete, the device will be going to send the acknowledgement. So what do you mean by acknowledgement? So acknowledgement will be something like, yes, I have done this one. Like that messages will be sent back. Okay, or yes, I have received the command, like that the acknowledgement will be sent back. So what is the use of that one? So when you are going to send the acknowledgement, the connection will be formed there, and the controller or the monitor will also come to know whether the action is performed or not, or whether the device has received the signal or not. It will come to know. Okay. So the application seeks the status of the device, then the device will communicating the status. Now the next is data acquisition. So here you are acquiring the data from the IoT, that is Internet of Things, or the machine to machine devices. So data acquisition, so you are acquiring the data from the IoT or M2M devices. So here data will communicate after the interactions with the data acquisition system. or the application. So here data will communicate after the interaction with the data acquisition application or the system. The application will interact and communicates with the number of devices for acquiring the needed data. So if I want to collect the data, it will be interacting with the different devices, and the devices will send the data on demand or at programmed intervals. So programmed intervals means it may be based on the occurring of the event, or it may be a time period also. Now on demand means on the request. So uh, when the monitor or when the controller makes the request, then also it can send the data. Data of devices will communicate using the network, transport and the security layers. Yes, the communication happens because of the network layer, transport layer and the security layers. Here the device management software will be used. So here the device management software will be used to provisioning the device ID or the address and the activation of the devices. So it is mainly responsible for the creation of the device ID and address and the activation of it, configuring it, registering or deregistering it. Deregistering means removing it, right? Removing the registration, attaching or the deattaching. So for this purpose, device management softwares can be used. Next is validation. So it is always necessary or it is compulsory that you should make use of valid data. If you are going to make use of non-valid data, what is going to happen is your output or what you are getting the result will be also wrong result, right? So always before going for the analysis purpose, we will be validating the data. So data needs validation checks here. So data validation software will be present, which will be doing the validation checks here. So validation software will be making use of logic, rules and the semantic annotations. So here it will be depending on the applications or the services or the processors, depend on the valid data here, right? So whatever this service that is provided or the application that is provided or the process that is done will depend on the valid data. Because if you are having the non-valid data or if you are having the wrong data, then you can say that your output may be varying, right? Or it may be also wrong because you have entered the wrong data. Okay, so always the data validation should be done, because it not only provides the correct data, but it will also say that, and you say that these things are validated, these datas are validated. So you will also have the guarantee that what I'm going to get is the valid result. So after doing the validation checks and other things, you will be applying them on the analytics or the prediction or the prescription diagnosis and on the decisions. Now these things, that is the result of the analysis, prediction, prescription, diagnosis or the decision done, will be acceptable. Next is data storage. So here, while coming to the data storage, it is mainly divided into three categories. So the first one is data which needs to be repeatedly processed, referenced or audited in the future, and therefore data alone needs to be stored. So here data is the only thing that is going to get stored. Okay, let us see the next one. So data which needs the processing only once. So here the processing should be done only once, and the results are used at the later time for using in the analysis. So here the data is used only once, but the results will be used for the later analysis purpose. So that means what? Both data and the results of the processing and the analytics needs to be stored. Now the third one is online, real time and streaming of the data need to be processed. So here the real time data needs to be stored here. So what is going to happen here? The results of the uh, results of the real-time processing and the stream data or the analysis needs to be stored here. So while coming to the first one, only the data is stored. While coming to the second one, data is stored, the results are stored, and plus the analytics of that stored data is stored. But while coming to the third one, only the results of the processing and the analytics of the storage will be stored here. The datas are not stored. Okay, so data store. So while coming to the data store, so what do you mean by data store? It is a repository of set of objects which will integrate into the store. So it is a repository of set of objects which will integrate into the store here. Now some of the features of the data store features is objects in the data stores are modeled using the classes which are defined by the database schemes. Now the data store will be in the general concept will be including the data repositories such as database. You can have the relational database, you can have the flat file, spreadsheet, mail server, web server and directory services and VMware. Now next one is data store will also have the distributed over the multiple nodes. It not be present in the centralized format. It can be distributed also. Now the data store may consist of the multiple schemas or may consist of data in only one schema. So here what are the main features? One thing, objects in the data store are modeled using the classes, so which is defined using the database schemas. Next is data repositories will be making use of database, relation database, flat files. These things are used. Now it can be distributed over the multiple nodes also, and data store may consist of the multiple schemas or it may be consisting of in only one schema. That is okay there, right? Next is data store management. So while coming to the data store management, as we already discussed, you will be mainly used to manage the data. So here the data center data store is the data security and the protection using the advanced tools, full data backups along with the data recovery, redundant data communication connection and full system power will be provided here. So here since the data center will be having a lot of data, you have to provide the security and you have to provide the protection by using the making use of the advanced tools, and also the backup will be given so that data can be recovered. So here it is going to require the management and the server management, that is data center management and the server management is going to be required. So data center also possesses a dust free heating, ventilation and air conditioning, cooling, humidification and dehumidification equipment, with the physical high security environment. So here, since the lot of processing is going to be taken, the heat will be generated. So you have to cool those things and you have to maintain the hardware component also properly. So you're going to require the cooling system, humidification, dehumidification equipment, purification systems, which will be having the security environment. Next is server management. So while coming to the server management, so it is mainly used to managing the services setup and mainly used for maintenance of the system on all types of associated with the server. So let us see some of the features here or the properties. So it is going to have the short reaction times when the system or the network is down. So it needs to have the short reaction time here. So high security standards by repeatedly performing the system maintenance and the updation. So in the timely manner you have to perform the system maintenance and the updation. Now you have to have the periodic system updates for the state of art setups. You should have the optimized performance, monitoring on all the critical services with the SMS or the email notification. It should have the security of the systems and the protection, maintaining the confidentiality and the privacy of the data. So it should have the security and the integrity and effective data protection on the files, database and the organization. So here the strict documentation and the auditing should be also done, and it should also protect from the unauthorized user, server, viruses, malwares and worms there. So protection of the customer data and enterprise internal document should be also given there. Next we'll be going to the spatial storage. So while coming to the spatial storage, it is optimized to store and enable querying the data objects defined in the geometric space here, and which is a database for 2D and 3D objects here. So it can store up to store different types of data here. So it can have topological coverage, linear networks, triangular, irregular networks, or other complex structures can be present here. Next, we'll be going on to the organizing the data. So here we will see about how the data is organized here. So while coming to the organizing the data, you can make use of flat file, spreadsheet, database, relational database with only one schema, or you can have the multiple schema data. Then you can have the SQL database, or you can have the no SQL database. Then you can have the relational time series service database also. So first and foremost, let us see what do you mean by database. So database is a collection of data. So here the database, that is a collection of data, will be organized into the tables here. So that means you are going to have the rows and columns here, and there the every record is maintained in the proper manner. Next is the relational database. So collection of data into the multiple tables which relates to each other through the special fields are called as relational database. So database is a collection of data in one particular table, While coming to the relation database, it is a collection of data into multiple tables. So here you are going to have the multiple tables and they are connected to one another by the special fields. Mainly you are going to have the primary fields and the foreign keys will be present. By making use of those things, you will be connecting them. Next is object oriented database, that is OODB. So it is the collection of objects here. So saved objects in the object oriented design. So next is database management system. So database management system will be a system software, or I can say it is a software system which will be containing the set of programs specially designed for the creation and management of the data stored in the database. So it is a software system which will be having the set of programs mainly designed for the creation and management of the data stored in the DB. So next is database transaction. So you can have the database transaction here, and it will be having the it can execute the specific set of the operations on the database. Transactions can be also performed on the database. So database transactions models here. So while coming to the database transaction model, it should obey the ACID rule, that is atomicity, consistency, isolation and the durability. So let us see one by one what do you mean by atomicity. So atomicity means that the transaction must be complete in full. Okay, so treated that it is an individual transaction. Okay, so when the service request is completed, that is when the transaction is completed, the pending request field should also be made as 0. Next is consistency. The data after the transaction should remain consistent. It will not change to the previous state. Okay, so next is isolation. So here the transaction between the tables are isolated from each other. So one table is not going to affect the another table. The transaction in one table will not affect the another table unless they are related or unless you have the cascading functions. Next is durability. So here the after the completion of the transaction, the previous transaction cannot be recalled. So once the transaction is completed, you cannot move back to the previous transaction. So only the new transaction can affect the any change on the database. So relational database transaction, the execution of the interrelated instructions using the relation is called as relational database transaction. So here the sequential execution of the specific set of the relational operation is done on the relational database. So you are going to perform the sequential execution of the specific set of the relational operation. So on the relational DB, that is database. So here the execution of the some operation is going to affect the relational database. So what do you mean by relational database? One, different tables are connected together based on certain relations. So one table here, one transaction may affect the another also. So query and query processing here. So the application, service or the processors will be seeking the specific data set from the database or the relational database. So you may need the specific data set from the database or the relational database here. So the query processing is used here to do that. So what do you mean by query processing? Query processing means using a process and getting the results of that particular query made of the from the DB is called as query processing. So distributed DB and distributed query processing. So here distributed DB is a collection of logically interrelated cooperating databases over the computer network here. So here the different DBs are connected together, which are connected together or they related together. So here the distributed system has the ability to access remote sites and transmit the queries. So it has the capability to access the remote sites and transmit the queries. So next is distributed query processing. So what do you mean by distributed query processing? So query processing operation in the distributed database on the same system or on the network system is called as distributed query processing. So you are going to make the query processing on the distributed database. Okay. So when you are going to make that is called as distributed query processing. So here the query processing is applied on the distributed database. Next is structured query language, that is SQL. So what do you mean by SQL? That is structured query language. A language for the data access control, schema creation and the modification here is SQL. So here the language is mainly used for managing RDBMS, that is Relational Database Management System, and here this can be used for data definition, data manipulation and data control instructions, that is DDL, DML and DCL. Next is NoSQL or not only SQL here. So here no integration with the application that are based on the SQL. So here the SQL and the NoSQL are completely different, because in the SQL the data which will be entering that will be stored in the structured format. So you know that how the data is going to come, which are the data will be stored. Plus you are going to know about the type of the data is also known to you. But while coming to the NoSQL, that is not only SQL, you cannot say that what data you will be getting will be in the same format and they will be in the same structure. You cannot say that. So it is mainly used in cloud data store. So NoSQL is consisting of classes of non-relational data storage system. It will be having a flexible data models and the multiple schemas will be present. Next is ETL, that is extract, transform and load here. Extract, transform, load, it is mainly a system which will be enabling the usage of the database used, which will be especially mainly used to done or applied on the data warehouse. Okay, so ETL, that is extract, transform and load. Let us see one by one. So what do you mean by extract? Obtaining the data from the homogeneous or the heterogeneous data sources. Homogeneous means same type, heterogeneous means different type data source. So you are going to obtain the data. Transform, so transferring and storing the data in an appropriate structure format. So let us say that you want to trim the data, or you want to transform the data, or you want to change the format of the data. That time you can make use of the transform, and then you will be storing them in the structured format. Next is load, the structured data store in the final target database or in the data store or in the data warehouse. So you are going to load or you are going to store the data that you have got into the database or into the data store or to the data warehouse. Now here the ETL, that is extract, transform and load systems, it is mainly usages for the integrating data from the multiple application which are hosted separately. Now ETL can run parallelly also. Thank you.